I got a stack to share with you today. Yay! Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time, and welcome to what is almost Academia April. So, for those of you who don't know, I recently just kind of created a little read along. If you choose to participate each month, there's a different category for you to read at least one book in that particular category. And in April, it will be Academia April, which is a book about school, learning, development in some way, usually more than one student, but not always. And it's very open, so you can interpret this in any way that you would like. I have looked at my shelves and I've looked up some, content on the internet to see kind of what books I have that might fit within Academia April, because I'm really focused, as many of you know, on reading my backlist. I have a long backlist. There's a number of these that I've had for a while and just have never read. At least I don't, there's one of them I don't think I read, and the rest of them I know I didn't. And they're all really calling out to me. So there's no danger in any of these. But I also sometimes like a shiny new book, right? Like everybody does. But I'm really focusing on this backlist thing. And so I've got 6 books to share with you today. And these are some oldies. So the first one is Maeve Binchy's Echoes. I just talked about this, Maeve Binchy anyway, the other day, and how I have a few of hers that I haven't read. This would be a great one for me to pick up in April because it is set in an academia space. This one is, it came out way back in 2000, early 2000, I think. And the paperback I got, I think around the middle of maybe 2005, 2008. I don't know. But anyway, it was a while ago. And I have just, I don't know why not gotten to this one. I started it at one point. I think I did a try a chapter perhaps. So I have my little bookmark in here. But this one is about 2 young people, David and Claire, and they live in Castle Bay. And I think they've known each other from when they were younger, but I'm not absolutely sure about what their relationship is. But they both leave Castle Bay and they go off to Dublin, to the University of Dublin, I think. Yes. And Claire's had a really large family. They have a faltering food store. And David's father is an attorney. So he comes from a little bit more money, and Claire comes from a lot of hard work. I think she has a lot of siblings as well. But when they go away to university, they discover kind of the connection that sometimes brings them to families that maybe isn't always healthy, but they also learn about lovers and secrets that they left in Castle Bay, which I've always been curious about. I love Maeve Binchy. I'm sad that she's no longer with us to write more content, but I still have a few that I've not gotten to, and this could be one of the ones that I do get to in April. All right, then I've chosen possibly, these are possibilities, Donna Tartt's The Secret History. I have not read Donna Tartt's books at all. I started the other one that's very popular. I can't remember the name of. It was not The Little Friend. And I did not finish it, but I enjoyed it. But this one is about a campus, a college experience with a number of young people. Their professor is a charismatic classics professor. But this little group of New England students starts on this sort of journey of maybe some madness, some beyond the boundaries of normal morality. They slip gradually from obsession to corruption and betrayal and last into evil. So it is definitely a dark academia, I would say. And I've always been curious about it. And a lot of people, like I said, really love this. It is super small print. This one is huge, as was the other one, which is why I didn't finish it. I have a I have a card here from a friend's business from years ago that's no longer in business. Isn't that terrible? But I'm just now noticing I haven't talked to them in a while, so maybe I'll reach out to them. So that's a possibility. The next one is really old. This one came out in 1994, I think. This is Gail Godwin's The Good Husband. I've collected a lot of her novels as well, and I've never gotten to this one. And I thought that the synopsis in this one said that the husband is a college professor, if I remember correctly. So this book is about him and her, predominantly, I think, maybe told from her perspective. So Magda Danvers is the woman in this particular novel that is in the main focus. It's a portrait of two marriages, four unforgettable characters, and it travels beyond the usual questions of love and domestic comfort to explore profound consequences of intimate relationships. And in its deepest sense, a novel about how we influence and transform and sometimes complete one another. I don't know if this one is going to be as good as most of the ones of hers I read because I think this one had lower ratings than some of the others, as I remember, which is probably why I haven't gotten to it. But I have enjoyed a lot of her novels very, very much. And she's a sort of a was a stable for me for a long time. So I'd like to finish her to zero. I don't know if now is the time, but I would. Now we're going to get to some newer ones, right? You're thinking, gosh, those are all yellowed and old. The Will of the Many by James Islington or Islington, I'm not sure. This one could be a great one for, I think, for Academia April, because it does include a character named V's who is going into a university or to some sort of an academic space as a student, but he also has an ulterior motive for being there. And so this one I think is fantasy for sure. It is a book that it says a young fugitive uncovers layered mysteries and world-changing secrets in this fantasy series. I think that this will be very, very fun. This is the series is called The Hierarchy, and this is book one. And I also did get book two this year, which came out. So I would like to get to this year. Again, this one is a chunker. And I hear that it's pretty quick to get through as well. It's pretty easy to read. So maybe. Then this one, I think I got, let me tell you before I show it to you. I think I got this one last year as well. 2024 is the copyright, so maybe even earlier. And this is Society of Lies by Lauren Ling Brown. I had never heard of this author, and when I think this was the most anticipated for me that when it came out, I remember thinking about it then, talking about it, and then purchasing it pretty quickly after it was released, but have not gotten to it. And it is a Reese's Book Club pick, but I did not purchase it for that reason. I just purchased it because, it was something I thought I would like. I love these kinds of closed academia groups of people, and I may, like I said, do a video about books that I've read before that I've enjoyed in that space. But this one it sounds really good and also really tragic. So this is about Maya, who's returned to Princeton for her college reunion. And one of the reasons she's decided to go to her college reunion is because her young sister Naomi goes to school at Princeton as well. So she's very happy to see her. Only Naomi has died, and the police are calling it an accident, but she thinks that there's more to that. So she starts to figure out what happened to Naomi before her death, starts to investigate, learns more about this particular place, and discovers that she was in this kind of secret society situation and that something must have gone awry. I really like this one. I remember the cover of this design was one of the things that drew me in. This one I've had for a while too. This one I got because we were in a used bookstore a friend of mine owned, and I saw it and I thought, oh, that would be funny because it is set in Mississippi at the university that my partner went to. So this came out in 2018 by Lisa Patton. This is Rush. And if any of you know what a rush is when the universities and colleges begin their sorority term, and so they start to rush potential people for their sorority. I was never a sorority girl, nor was my partner, but we both thought that this might be interesting to grab, and so we did, and we neither of us have read it. It has some good buzz from some people that I enjoy and that I have read, but this is about Lilith Whitmore. She's the house core president of Alpha Delta Beta, and she appoints Wilda to the Rush Advisory Board. And Wilda is very excited because this is an incredible opportunity for her, but she doesn't know that this is part of Lilith's plan to ensure that her own daughter receives a bid to join Alpha Delta. So there are some other women in this particular book. There is this moneyed system where Ole Miss campus in Oxford is definitely in a moneyed area, and this is a group of people that often are, not all, because my certainly my partner was not moneyed or interested in, in being a part of sororities, but this is definitely a place where that is a very prestigious thing for people to do. In fact, my granddaughter, who's not in a sorority and is locally kind of going to college, not kind of, she is, her best friend went to Ole Miss, and we have been friends with her since she was a baby, right? We've known her forever. She actually, I think, did rush, and I don't know what the outcome was now that I think about it, so I should probably check in on that. Nevertheless, you have to have a level of pedigree in order to be approved for some of these sororities and some of these campuses. And while this is something that really bothers me internally, because it just feels like I don't like anyone being isolated or excluded based on any category that might isolate or exclude them. But there are lots of things in this that I think might be entertaining. So secrets, dark family secrets people hide. There's a housekeeper and a second mother for the Alpha Delt girls, and something happens with her and Lilith and these other people too. And so it says it's achingly poignant, yet laugh out loud funny, and it takes a sharp, nuanced look at the centuries-old traditions while exploring the complex, intimate relationships between mothers, daughters, and female friends. Brimming with heart and hope for a better tomorrow, Lisa Patton's Rush is a deeply moving, uplifting novel universal to all of us. That's pretty incredible. I'd like to finish it and get it, read, get it on my read list and maybe unhaul it and give it to somebody else. But it's in really good shape. And yeah, I miss my friend. Her little bookstore is no longer open, and we really enjoyed visiting her, and she's moved and is living somewhere else and probably selling books there. But this one I will never forget because she recommended it at the time and said she thought it was going to be a good one, and people were giving some good buzz about it. So again, I've had it for way too long. But isn't that nice that I have this whole stack of backlist books that are really heavy, both in reading and content in some ways, but also in physicality. So I am going to kind of keep this stack handy so I can see which one I want to start first. If I were to guess which one I would begin with, I would say, you're probably guessing now too, I'll give you a minute. I would say it's going to either be this one or this one. And I'm not sure why exactly, except that I think these two feel like I would kind of be able to read them and enjoy them and finish them maybe quicker than some of the others. Secret History is a little bit big, but I mean, this one, Echoes, isn't small by any stretch. This is definitely 488 pages, but I don't know. I usually go through these pretty quickly. I love the way that she wrote, Maeve Binchy wrote. And I love a suspense. So, that would give me kind of a choice between the two of those. So thanks for watching me today. If you're participating in reading along whatever you want to read in Academia April, or if you want to read one of these and buddy read it with me, you certainly can ask about that as well. But let me know what you would be interested in, or if you were going to participate in Academia April, what would you want to read first? Or if you have read some academia that you want to recommend to me, which I would love, please do that in the space below in the comments so that I can kind of see that, because I do love this genre very, very much. And I especially love it when they are kind of isolated or groups of people who are long-term friends or connected in some way, and that they have a bit of a coming of age, because aren't all of us in that space there to learn something that we didn't know before? So thanks again for watching. I appreciate all of you very, very much, and happy reading. Bye.